You coming from an injury now, and we saw Levan hurting his wrist. You think he had enough time to recover and be ready for the match? Because in some training videos, you see him curling. His wrist is going a little bit back, also on the curl with the bar and with dumbbell. You think that can be a factor with where Devon can really attack? I mean, that's for sure his plan, but you think that's the injury will play a big factor, or you think he had enough time?
I don't think the injuries. I don't think the injury's going to play a role at all. But I've said it a dozen times. The strongest hand the art sport has ever seen is probably Levan, and in my opinion, the only way to beat him is to beat his hand. Like, you have to get through his bottom fingers, you have to crack his wrist, you have to get him the strap. And I think if there's somebody that can do it, it's Devon. I think if I was the peak strongest I've ever been in a strap, I think there's a chance I could get his wrist to buckle over multiple rounds. But I think it's going to take someone like Devon or myself with a complete disregard for the safety of the arm and go straight King's move on him, I mean, you got to have to crack that wrist somehow. It's going to take back pressure. It's going to take pronation. I think Devon goes King's move first round. I think he goes King's move every round until he bleeds him, That's what I think. I don't know if he's enough to stop him or not, but I'm going to be watching,
Maybe stopping him down in the first round, and if when the rounds go on, maybe do it more on his not on his side, but more up, and the later rounds maybe stopping in the
Oh,
second.
absolutely. I mean, if the match, if Levan's wrist gets compromised in the early rounds, I can see Devon messing around the setup longer, playing more games and setup, fatiguing him. And then if he stops him enough times, he could stop him in the center. If he stops him early. When I say stop him, if he cracks his wrist early, by those round 3 and 4, he could be very near the center of the table stopping him. And then if he ever stops him to a point to where he knows he's going to win, it'll be the most amount of shit talking we've ever seen.
That's for sure. One thing I haven't seen Levan do a lot is defensive style pulling, in terms of being on the other side of the table.
Yeah.
And we haven't seen him on that side for a long period of time, since he has become this monster.
No, absolutely. I think Levan's keys to victory are to do the exact same thing he did last time. I mean, I think if he does not overpower Devon convincingly, it's going to turn Devon's way. But I do think he's probably strong enough to do it. I think he's strong enough to probably overpower him convincingly, honestly.
It's super interesting. If Devon had the back pressure from Hermes, it would be much easier. But with the hand, maybe play it. I don't know. It's super interesting. We are also waiting the match, but the whole card is interesting. I think who doesn't come or tune in, it's just crazy. I mean, one of the best.
Yeah, it's
card ever.
The fact. Exactly, the fact that he's offering up to like 1,000 people to come watch.
Yeah,
that place should be packed.
For sure.